This is my dog. She's cute, right? She hates the gays. Sonny, it's okay, he just had painted nails. And I've tried to teach her better. I really have, but... Sonny, it's been legal for a long time. You gotta get used to it, okay? I guess you can't teach an old dog new tricks. In this case, the trick would be her unlearning her. But I've been in dire need of some sort of four-legged companion which I can actually take to places, you know? I bring her to a dinner party and it's like your grandparents at Thanksgiving. I don't think she believes in vaccines. So I've tried a couple times to build a robot dog. An unthinking, unfeeling machine surely can't... I built one. I built two. I built three. If I'm really honest, none of them have worked. And it's such a weird experience when you pour your whole soul, mind, body, heart, life into something for like a couple months and it still fails anyway. Life is hard. But I go harder. Build another dog.
All these guns on me, it's so set, please throw it up. Heard you got a man, but he ain't like us. Little bitty bands ain't doing enough. All it's all on me, this might make you fall in love. Telling your friends you found the one. And I'm like...
Thomas Edison once said he did not fail. He simply found 10,000 ways which did not work. I'm probably closer to 20,000 now, but the sentiment still stands that if we can learn from our mistakes, it will propel us towards a brighter future. So, before you and I embark on this journey of building a robot dog, we are first going to analyze what went wrong last time. Lesson 1 is do not use the Jansen linkage. Oh my goodness. Basically, a Jansen linkage is this. It's effectively a machine which converts rotational movement into like a walking motion. If I turn the coat hanger, you can see it moves kind of like it was a pair of biological legs. It's pretty cool, and you can imagine if I got 2 or 4 of those pairs of legs, pretty soon I'd have just like a walking creature. But in my first foray trying to build this sort of walking robot, I built so many of these prototypes, and enough to tell you that it doesn't always work super well. For example, take a look at this guy right there. That is a load-bearing paperclip. And the reason that that paperclip is necessary is because... oh my god, it's so far away. See this prototype right here? The linkage has a certain point in its rotation where it will just lock up. If we're around here in the rotation cycle and any force applies from the bottom, i.e. the ground, which it's supposed to be walking on, it'll lock up. And if it's locked up in this way, when you try to turn it, it diverts all its energy into trying to tear itself apart. Like so. So it's kind of a nightmare situation. It's super cool and it works great for Mr. Jansen himself, but... I actually did record a lesson 2 and a lesson 3, but, you know, the most interesting part of any story is right here. That's the conflict. If I learn too much, project's too easy, no drama, no conflict, bad story, bad video. Or even worse, imagine I reflect on this and actually learn something. Don't overwork yourself. Make sure your life's enjoyable while you're doing the project. Who needs that? So instead of thinking about it, I'm just gonna lock in.
Not gonna lie, woke up and I'm feeling like Romy, y'all better acknowledge it. Not gonna lie, blow so over, that nigga so cold that he fucked on and polished it.
The very first step in designing anything is understanding what it is at the core of the thing you're trying to design. What makes it tick? Obviously for Sunny, it's her raging homophobia, but if you're able to look past that, you can probably tell what makes up her essence. If you guessed the Chebyshev lambda linkage, you would be 100% correct. Pictured here, the Chebyshev lambda linkage is another walking mechanism. I chose it because it is A, super simple, and B, very functional. It's gonna come with a couple additional challenges that I didn't have to deal with when I was using the Jansen linkage, but I took some notes on it, so I'm an expert now. All right, everybody, gather around and put your construction hats on because we are designing. The Chebyshev lambda linkage is made up of two main types of components. First, we have the actual links, which are the structural component that dictate how it moves. But more subtly, there's the actual connector pieces, which are going to connect those links together. That's what this is. The CAD was very, very easy because I just copy-pasted it from last year. The design is heavily inspired by those blue Lego connector pieces. And the whole point of these is that they've got a little hole which make it easy to insert into a piece, but harder to remove. So it's very good at binding pieces together. And since it's circular, it allows for free rotation along that axis. The next piece is the links, which you could probably guess. The design is really not that difficult. It is a line with some holes in it. Yeah. Lastly, we have the links, we've got the connectors, but we're going to need something to actually move the machine. To make the crank, I started with the connector, and then I added the link and the shaft, which I'm going to turn to actually power the device. I'm gonna be super honest with y'all, I have not used this printer in a long time. There was a cockroach in there. So, while in life I generally prefer to maintain an optimistic disposition, it would be incredibly lucky if it actually worked this first try. But yeah, I'll see y'all tomorrow morning. Good morning. I'm about to check the 3D print. Immediate signs are bad. The filament head has completely detached from the printer. Okay, my best guess at the problem is that the filament was just too brittle after not having used it for however many years I've been in college for. So to fix it, I just plugged it back in and hope that that will somehow change things. Weirdly, it worked. Alright.
Back door, Lil Joe. Life is how the dice roll. Pay my dad tenfold, stump your ass out. Then some Kendall Cole, stump your ass out. Then call J. Cole, man, this is way cold, man. This that 8 flow, man. Know my 8 level up, need like 8 more, man. I don't hate no man, I don't chase no man. 2.5 Macarena, 4.5 slow dance. In my pockets Roseanne, and my music choke slams, and my trophies hold hands. Don't confuse it with some
I was just recording some B-roll. This is the shot specifically. And this group of girls behind me started laughing at me. Bro's never seen the sun. What has happened to us as a generation? But yeah, the connectors just don't work. I printed them in such a way that the layer lines line up where they experience the most stress. So they're taking the most stress where they are the weakest. Super easy fix though. I should just be able to rotate them 90 degrees, print them again. They should work. They'll be a little worse looking, but they came out pretty good. Nice and spider webby. Look at that. Alright, it works pretty well and my camera is falling. It works pretty well. If you're watching at home right now, you're probably thinking, wow, Carter, you did it again. Good job. And also, you're super hot and cool and should totally be on the cover of Vogue. Unfortunately, you would not be 100% correct in that. You're right about the hot and cool and Vogue thing, obviously. But there are a couple additional design challenges that come with the Chebyshev lambda linkage, which we didn't have to deal with when I made it with the Jansen linkage. Such as, and also, challenge 1 is right here. This is a simulation I coded a while ago, which simulates general mechanical linkages. You can see with the Jansen linkage, it looks like it works pretty well. And there's just one source of rotational movement. But when we try to use the Chebyshev linkage instead, you can see that with just one source of rotational movement, the pieces overlap, which is fine for the simulation, but in real life, it's going to cause some issues. And challenge number 2 is the legs. The legs are a very important part of a walking machine, as you can imagine. But in pretty much every single version of this machine that I can find online, the legs are bound to be completely perpendicular to the ground. 100% 90-degree angle, and they never change rotation. This is a challenge because the linkage doesn't actually cause the legs to do that. If we were to just put the legs on the end of the linkages, then the machine would just fall immediately. Our mechanism won't have to be too complicated, but we are going to have to do something to make sure that these legs stay perpendicular to the ground. I think between the two, I'm going to deal with challenge 1 first. So the crux of the issue is that there's only one source of rotational movement, and we got to split it into 2. Number one is just have 2 motors. And that's not gonna work because my motor's just too big. It is oftentimes much easier to use things that have already been built as power sources, especially because electronics are really hard and scary. So, unfortunately, that means that our robot's going to be powered by a dismembered toy lizard. The way of doing this is add it. Okay, you know what? That wasn't that bad. Fly high. Rest in peace, Greg.
Yesterday, all my troubles seem so far away. Now it looks as though they're here to stay. Oh, I believe in yesterday.
Other option is we could make a belt. Belts are pretty useful. They gotta be pretty high precision. I don't have any of the tools that people would use to make a belt work. Also, I can't 3D print one because it's not a rigid thing. Option 3 is whatever this is on Wikipedia. I have no idea how that could work. I thought about it for a couple minutes and I just can't imagine a world where I make that and it doesn't somehow overlap with itself. Which leaves us with only one option left, which is gears. Gears are also just as scary as the rest of these things though, but I'm technically physically capable of 3D printing them. But yeah, I'm scared of them, so I texted my mechanical engineering friends for help. How do I make a gear in Autodesk? Don't. For the actual design, I started with a circle, I gave it one tooth, and then I rotated it all around the gear. The gears work really well, which is a little sad because I was kind of hoping they wouldn't, and then I could be all, man, that really grinds my gears. Alright, now for challenge 2. Pablo Picasso once said, so this right here is a design that I came up with all by myself. It's basically 2 crossbars that go on top of the legs, giving them 2 points of contact, which keeps them facing down. It also syncs them up with the diagonal legs. It's super cool, it's helpful. Started off by making some measurements. It turned out that the crossbars would have to be longer than can actually fit in my 3D printer, so I just printed half of them at a time and then super glued them together. I'm a little skeptical. I don't think it actually can hold 1,000 pounds, but I bet it can hold the gear on the shaft. Okay, there you go. I'm so excited. Like it says right here, we got our little lizard guy, we got our foot, we got our glued together top crossbars, we got our Starbucks bottle that I've been using as a water cup, our Starbucks bottle that I should throw away. And assembly went super well. It actually went too well, and then I tested it out before it actually worked. This is test number 1, and I'm very worried it will implode. It's not all the way done. There's still more stuff I can glue together, but let's see. Oh my goodness. Okay, hold on. That looked awesome. And that was a problem because I had to tear it apart to put it back together again and actually glue everything together. I don't know why I do that. But yeah, I glued it all together. And drum roll, please. It's super awesome. I'm amazingly happy with how it turned out. This is just the prototype. I'm gonna build a giant one someday in the near, more likely far future. But thank you so much for watching, and I really do honestly hope that your dreams in this life come true.
Just like me, he wanted to sing. He had no window hose and no doors. He lived a simple life and was extremely poor. On top of all of that, he had no eyesight, but that didn't keep him from seeing the light. He said, "What's